Yes.
Number 49.
All right, let's take a look at quickly question number 49. All right, for some extra help on that. Okay, so let's take a look at this now. All right, we're supposed to solve for y. All right, now, what?
Never mind.
All right, I'm
Just
solving.
don't do it. Yeah.
Here we go. There's y. I'm solving for that variable. All right, so in order to solve for y, I've got to isolate y. All right, by isolating, that means I need to take the ax and throw it to the other side. All right, so when we do that, I end up with by is equal to c minus ax. You may have any questions with that? Now, I'm still trying to isolate the y. So to isolate the y, I divide by b. Now, keep in mind, I divide the whole thing by b. So technically, your answer is y is equal to c minus ax all over b. And that's it. Okay, and that is it. Yes. All right, let's take a look now at 53. All right. Now, on this one, what they're trying to tell you, for some strange reason, just maybe just to try to throw you off, it's normally what? X and Y, right?
Oh, so it'd be
But now they have A and B.
Oh.
So remember, your solution is written in alphabetical order. So the B value is what? The B value is -5. So all that means to do is wherever you see a B, plug what? You plug -5. All right? You see it now? All right? Just plugging -5 in for B and then solving. Okay? Anybody else have trouble over the weekend?
36.
All right, let's take a look at 36. All right? Now, this is just practicing writing. All right? 6 is subtracted from a number. So let me just get this out of the way so it's not a distraction. 6 is subtracted from a number. So that would be what? X minus 6. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
The result is divided by 4. This result is added to 10. To give what? 30. All right, now that was a really good question. Really good question. All right. You with me on that?
Yeah.
Do I need to solve it?
Yes.
All right, so when you solve, you're getting rid of 10. So we're going to subtract 10. So we end up with x minus 6 over 4 equals 20, right? To undo dividing by 4, we what? Multiply by 4. So x minus 6 equals 80. So x is equal to 86. Yes, ma'am. All right. Yes.
You do 38.
Let's take a look at 38 now. Okay. So now, again, I always try to tell kids, this is just something right here. If you're having trouble, you can just plug in the numbers. Everybody hear me now? Everybody, no one should miss this on the exam. No one. Because if you don't know something, they give you the answers, you can just do what? Plug them in. All right, you can just plug them in. Listen, something's wrong with that cord, so just do me a favor. Just jump up, push it up, and grab one of those. All right? Now, for absolute value, if you recall, what's inside the absolute value can be positive, or what's inside the absolute value can be what?
Negative.
Can be negative. That's why you write two equations. All right? Who asked me about that? Does that make sense now?
Yeah, I get
Do I
that.
need to go any further?
No. Wait.
All right. Yes.
So how? Oh, never mind. I get it.
Right. So again, you set the absolute value equal to 21, and then you set the absolute value equal to -21. All right. Then you just solve that out.
Well, I
All right.
thought you did. Oh.
Yes.
You do number 46.
46. Here we go. Yeah, now this is a really good problem also. All right, because you're just plugging numbers in. All right. It's telling you that the volume is what? 66. Do you agree? So where this volume, the V is, I just replace it with what? 66. And then it says the radius is what? 3. So wherever I see R, I put a 3. Is that good with you? All right. So now we got to try to simplify. So when you simplify, what's 3 squared? 9 divided by 3. So that's how I've got 66 is equal to 3 pi h. You agree with that? Now, I, in my own head, just divide by 3 first. So now I have 22 is equal to pi h, and then the height is just 22 divided by pi. Now, I always tell kids, think of pi as like 3. 22 divided by 3 is about 7, right? So the only possible answer is what? 7. Does everybody see what I'm saying? All right, that's not bad. Yes. Okay, I'll show you. Do you, first of all, remember now, what you have to tell me is, are you good with the initial step right here? You're good with that, right? Okay, so now the question is, all of this became 3 pi. Do you understand how that became 3 pi? Okay, so you have to now tell me what is 3 squared? 9. Now, what does that mean? Yes, that means divide by 3. 9 divided by 3. That's where I'm getting this 3. You hear me now, right? Then I just divided 3. And then I just divided by pi.
Why is 22?
Why is the answer?
Yeah.
Well, because I just didn't feel like when I take a multiple choice test, I don't do all the work. All right, what I do is I always look at my answers and listen to me. I'm trying to now make you a better test taker. Those are my answers. What is 22 divided by pi? Most kids say I have no idea. But we do know. Because pi is about 3.14, right? So pi is about 3. So 22 divided by 3 is about 7. You see what I'm saying now? Right? So if you do 22 divided by pi on your calculator, it'll be about 7. But what I'm trying to show you is to be a better test taker, you should know the only possible answer is 7. All right, that's why I try to tell kids, always look at your A, B, C, D choices. Don't just randomly guess. There are ways to figure it out, even if you don't know. All right? All right, so I feel like we should go ahead and get started. All right, so let's go down now to question number 67. All right, now everybody forgot what standard form was for the most part. That's why you look at your answer choices. That should remind you. So if you just remember that the A value has to be what? The A value has to be positive. Right off the bat, I can knock off what? A and B. Just by knowing that. Now you have a 50-50 chance instead of a 1 in 4. All right, that's what I'm trying to help you with. All right? Now, it's either 2x or it is 3x. How do I know the answer is C without doing any work? When I distribute, I get a 2x. Exactly correct. Does everybody see that? All right. So let me show you then, for those of you guys who don't see. All right. Y minus 7 equals negative 2/3 times x plus 1. If I distribute the negative 2/3, do you realize I get a negative 2/3 x? And you're not allowed to have fractions, so you have to multiply everything through by 3. When you multiply everything through by 3, it stays 2x. All right, now let's just say you're not seeing that. All right, you're not allowed to have fractions. How do I know that? I looked at my answers. Do I see any fractions in the answers? So I have to get rid of the fraction, which means I have to multiply both sides by what? 3. I'm going to multiply both sides by 3.
Oh.
When I multiply the left side by 3, I get 3y minus 21 equals. Now, what happens to the 3 divided by 3? It cancels. So now I'm just distributing a negative 2. When I distribute a negative 2, I get negative 2x minus 2. Come on now, pay attention. For some reason, this is one of the harder questions. Now, hopefully you see the only possible answer now is the x has to be a 2, not a 3. Does everybody hear me? Right? Does everybody see that? All right, now to continue though, I'm going to push this over here, and I'm going to push this over here. So that becomes what? 2x plus 3y equals 19. All right, everybody okay with that? All right, continue. Which equation is graphed below? All right, so now what I want to do, this one's kind of annoying because it's written in what? Standard form. So just because I want to show you something, look up, please. Bless you. I can pick any point, right? Like look at this right here. What is this right here? What coordinate is that? 3, 1, thank you. Does everybody see this? Watch now, 3, 1. So if I plug 3 in for x and 1 for y, that would be an answer. Does everybody agree? So I'm going to put it in for a. 2 times 1 minus 3, is that 10? No, so that's out. Does everybody agree? 6 plus 1 equals negative 5. That's out. 6 minus 1 equals 5. Now, what I'm trying to show you now is a better way to take a test when you forget things. So everybody see that? Right? And now I'm going to try it for D just to make sure. So that'd be 2 plus 3 equals negative 5. So the correct answer has to be C. What's the matter, Drew?
I just don't understand how, like, I'm just like confused because, I don't know, it's just like I'm confused about the 3, 1 point.
Do you not know how to plot points?
Well, I do, but like.
So then what I just randomly picked one. I could
Right,
I could have also picked this one right here. What's that one?
3, 1, yes.
That's 2, negative 1. Do you agree?
I'm just kind of confused on that.
You didn't see the Y line.
Yeah, I don't see the line.
Okay, so there's a Y right here. The arrows indicate that's the Y-axis, and that's the X-axis.
Oh, yeah.
All right, that's I understand now what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right, but you see what I'm saying. As soon as I establish a point, I can plug the points in to see which one works. And it doesn't matter which one. I could have chosen this down here, right? Which would be 1 what? 1 negative 3, right?
Yeah.
Does everybody see how I would do it that way? Do you agree?
Yeah.
Right. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
So, like, how is C right?
Because when I plug in 3, 1 into this equation, it's true.
Well, isn't it true when you plug in 3, 1 into the second equation?
6 plus 1 equals negative 5.
Oh, that's like I get it now.
It has to be true. Good.
Yeah.
Listen to me now. That's what I'm saying. Speak up. All right. Now, does everybody understand how easy that was, right? It's very simple. Very, very simple. Do you like that better than writing the equation on the line? Much easier. All right. I don't feel like writing it in standard form. All right. Okay. So now it says, which is an equation line that passes through. Now, again, the first thing I would do here is always find the slope, right? So let's start with that. So M is equal to, remember, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So here we go. 3 plus 5 over 6 minus 2. 8 over 4 equals 2. Does everybody agree with that? So now I know the slope has to be what? So I know it's not B, and I know it's not A. That's how I think you should take a standardized test. All right, so you don't accidentally pick a right or wrong letter. All right?
I thought I'd be like y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
I just did that.
Oh, I thought you spelled it wrong.
And I got the slope equals to 2, so I crossed out everything that didn't have a slope of 2. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I get it.
All right. Now, again, if you want to remember, we can do y equals mx plus b and try to figure out what b is, right? And if I try to figure out what b is, I just plug in 6 and 3 for x and y, right? And 2 in for slope. So 3 is equal to 2 times 6 plus b. So 3 equals 12 plus b. So b equals what? Negative 9. Everybody see that? So I know the answer is what? D. All right. Now I want to show you something else that's interesting. Look up, please, because again, I always try to figure out the easiest, most efficient way to do these. And doing that is not the easiest. All right. The easiest would be to look up here real quick. I'm going to draw an x and y axis. If I graph 6 and 3, 6, 3 would be somewhere right there. And then 2, negative 5 would be somewhere down there, right? So if I would draw the line, would have a positive or negative y-intercept? Which one? So the answer had to be what? D. Right? Look at what I'm trying to show you now, guys. Look at what I'm trying to show you. All right? I would have just plotted the points on my own and said the y-intercept has to be negative. And then I could have crossed out C and B. Now, I would have had a harder time seeing if it was negative 6 or negative 9, but then I would just find the slope. My slope was rise over run. So everybody see what I'm saying? The exam is, multiple choice exams are super easy. I mean that. Even when you forget things. Most of the time you can figure it out by plotting points or just common sense. So you understand what I'm saying on that? All right? You can figure it out just by plotting the points. All right? But I'm trying to teach you that, so you got to listen. All right? Because I want everybody to make an A. All right? These problems are going to be on the exam. All right? Now, let's look at the next. Now, does everybody understand this right here? I want to review with you is the y-intercept. Do I agree with that? That's the y-intercept. Why is it the y-intercept? Because the x value is what? 0. So now the whole equation could be written as y equals 2/5 x minus 3. Does everybody agree with that? Now, I want to try to see if you remember from what I said earlier. Is the x going to have a 2 or a 5? 2, right? Because when you distribute a 2/5, right, there's no fractions, right? So you're going to have to multiply by what? 5, which will leave 2x, correct? So right off the bat, since I know it's going to be 2x, it's probably not that one, and it's probably not that one. And because we know standard form, the x value has to be positive. I'm thinking the answer is C, but I'm not for sure. Because if they were doing, even though it doesn't say standard form, if that's what they were doing, that would be my guess, if I had no idea how to do this problem. All right? So now, does everybody understand there's no fraction, so I'm going to multiply by 5, right? When I multiply by 5, I get 5y equals 2x minus 15. Everybody see that? If I multiply this by 5, what's 5 times 2/5? What's 5 times 2 divided by 5? That's why it's 2x. You see what I'm saying? Multiplying the fractions. All right, so now if I put it in standard form, Wow, it would be 2x minus 5y equals 15. Because I want the x to be positive, I throw this over here and the negative 15 over here. All right, that's how I want you to see it. All right, so the answer was what? C.
If you also looked at it and said, if you're doing it in standard form, then A, B, and D could have been crossed out and automatically been C.
So that one.
If you put it in, since you said you put it in standard form, couldn't you just automatically crossed out A, B, and D since they're all negative X?
Well, yes, but it doesn't say in the directions put it in standard form. You see what I'm saying? So they could have very well made it D just because it doesn't say standard form, right? That's what I was trying to tell everybody. All right, if it would have said specifically standard form, the answer would be C, and we would just move on. All right. All right, here we go. What?
Why didn't you move the 5y?
I did. So again, remember, I want the x to be positive, right? So let's talk about it. 5y equals 2x minus 15. Do you agree the x right now is positive? So I want to leave that alone. I need to move this out of the way. So that goes over there, right? And when I move it, it became a what? Now I need to move this out of the way. So that becomes a what? There you go.
So you would write 15 equals 2x.
So that's right. So then you with me, right? All right. So then I just put 2x minus 5y equals 15. All right. So now look right here, please. Slope is negative 3. So if the slope is negative 3, it's not D. The y-intercept is 5. Right? If I distribute here, that's negative 3x minus 15, so that's not the right answer. Add 5 to both sides, y equals negative 3x plus 5. There it is. Yes. Y equals mx plus b. Do you remember that? So this right here is considered the slope. So I replace the negative 3 with m. Right? Like I said, I tell everybody all the time, I don't know why they chose m. That's what it looks like. Right? But then they were just doing something funny. They just didn't put it, you know, the answers were just not written out the right way.
So you know how you do like it has to be like you can like cross out because it's a choice.
Yes.
Couldn't like D be possible because like Y is
No, because the slope for D is 5. That's a good question.
Yeah.
You with me?
Yeah.
The slope is 5. They tell us what? The slope is negative 3. So the person that selected D just mixed these up. You see how the 5 and the negative 3 in the wrong spot. You with me?
So like it doesn't have to have line of
No. There's lots of different forms. All right. Okay. So what's the y-intercept in this one? No, where does it cross the y-axis, guys? Come on now. Negative 2. And I'm agreeing with you. It's kind of hard to see. So in my opinion, I would draw the axis out so you can see it. Does everybody see that? So this is the origin, so you can see it. Right? So the y-intercept is what? So the only possible answer is what? Come on. C. You guys, that's bad. The only possible answer is C. Because again, let's talk about it. Y equals mx plus b. B represents the what? The y-intercept. Where does it cross the y-axis? At what? Negative 2. The only possible answer here, this is not it because it's plus 2. Not it because it's plus 2. The y-intercept on A, they say, is 0. So that's not it. Now again, I'm just trying to bring memory back. Bring memory back. All right, you can't let me do it all for you. If you're not taking notes and writing yourself reminders, you're not going to be able to do it when you take the exam. That's what's frustrating. I'm, again, doing all the work, and you guys just looking at, wow, that's pretty good. You guys should be writing the notes down, right? Any little bit of help is going to, make a difference. Because I promise you, it's going to be exact same format, just less problems. All right, speak up.
Why did you pick that point instead of the other?
Because I know an equation, y equals mx plus b. B is an easy one to find. You hear me? The y-intercept. So I found the y-intercept. That is the y-intercept. Do you understand me now? What?
So I don't know. It's like
F of x means y. Thank you. It's functional notation. All right. When you get more advanced, we don't say y equals anymore. We say f of x.
You could pick any point for the line.
Any point, any place that the line crosses.
Oh, the line, my bad.
Right, where the line crosses the y-axis.
Okay.
Where the line crosses the y-axis.
if you have a horizontal line, but you have a y-intercept.
Yes, the horizontal line
And then a vertical would
is
be
no. No. Okay, here we go. So if the slope is 0, you have a horizontal line. Again, make yourself a note. Horizontal line. That means y equals a constant. So what is the y value in this point? So the answer is just y equals -3. So a vertical line would be x equals. And a vertical line has no slope. All right? Now, for the next one. If you are parallel, if lines are parallel, what's true? If lines are parallel, they have the same slope, right? They must have the same slope. So I need to figure out what this slope is of this line right here. All right, so I got to solve it. So 12x equals 10 plus 3y. 12x minus 10 equals 3y. 4x minus 10 thirds equals y. So y equals 4x minus 10 thirds. So what's the slope of this line, guys? Slope of that line is what? 4. The slope is 4. That means the slope of the parallel line would also have to have a slope of what?
4.
4. So I find the one with the slope 4. So it's not what? It's not A or C. Am I good on that? So now, again, all right, the one that's important here is the y-intercept. Do you agree with that? So y equals mx plus b. What point are we going through? -5, 3. And what's the slope? 4. So we can just plug in. 3 equals 4 times -5 plus b. 3 equals -20 plus b. B equals what? 23. All right. So now my answer has to be what, guys? D. All right.
So, what's the thing that was like 12x minus 3y equals 10? How'd you get 4x?
Because what's 12 divided by 3?
4, but you just like, oh, I get it.
For the ending circle, where is the little?
That means parallel. Just like if something's perpendicular, we will write that. Okay, so question number 75. All right. If line Q has a slope of -3/8, the perpendicular will have a slope of what? 8 thirds, right? Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocals, opposite signs. So if one's negative, the other one's positive. All right, does anybody have any questions with that?
Was it the opposite? The perpendicular?
Opposite sign. Reciprocal. All right. Now, your slope here. All right. This was done on the calculator. All right. This was done on the calculator. All right. So, everybody take out the calculator real quick. You hit the stat button and then edit. Under L1, you put in the what? X values. And under L2, you put in the what? The Y values. Let's go, let's go. Everybody needs to refresh on the calculator for sure. And then under L1, you put 22, 25, 28, 29, and 33. Under L2, you put 5, 7, 7, 9, 8. Now, from there, you, I believe, hit the stat again. Then you go over to calc. And then you go down to
Wasn't it like invert?
right.
X plus B?
Yep. And then that should tell you what the slope is. What does it say the slope is about?
I got for A point 28.
All right. So hold on. So the slope is B. Does everybody agree with that?
So how did you get after it?
Okay, I have it right up here on the board. Stat, go over to calc, and then go down to line. Now, what would be the equation? Y equals 0.283x plus what? What was the y-intercept? 0.56. All right, so that's kind of like the line of best fit. That's kind of like the line of best fit. All right? Now it says estimate how many points will be scored if 80 shots. So if you take 80 shots, that's the x-coordinate. So now type it into your equation. Y equals 0.283 times 80 plus 0.56. And what would that be?
It says
23.2, so to me that's closer to 24. Anybody else have any questions with that? All right, I'm expecting you to be able to use your calculator, guys. So make sure you know how to do that. All right, it's time. Okay, so that's a good stopping spot, guys. Thank you very much for a good day. Try to do as much as you can tonight. Tomorrow's the last day.
That's why I like everything. I was going to say right now,